about the pieces of my life that God wanted me to share with you this morning that maybe would make the most impact. And I'm going to share with you a time where Phil and I had our faith tested. And I'm going to talk about your faith being tested because I grew up knowing about God. I grew up in a Christian home. I grew up in a great family, all the things. We went to church, we did all the things. But there's a difference between knowing about God and knowing God, having a relationship with God. So I was in and out, you guys. I was in with God, and then I was out with God, and I was in with God, and I was out with God. And when I met Phil, he was the very first man in my life to show me what it looked like to be a genuine man of God. Not a perfect man, but a man of God who walked the walk and talked the talk. And I gave my life back to the Lord 14 years ago when we started dating. And we got into the life of ministry, you guys. And it's not something that I would have ever chosen. I did not pray to become a pastor's wife. He didn't even pray to become a pastor. He actually was a firefighter. But how good is God? He knows above and beyond what we need, and he will get you there when you allow him to test your faith. So let's talk about that. About 7 years ago, we were doing really well in our marriage, aside from the fact that we were struggling with infertility. He was doing well with ministry. I was doing very good in my corporate sales job. We just bought our first home. We were doing the American dream, right? Doing what you got to do and building a life. And I got very, very sick. I had previously struggled with an autoimmune disease. I was in remission, things were fine. You know, you get on that mountaintop and you don't think you're ever gonna go back down, right? We were going down. And my health hit me so hard, and we had to have some serious conversations about, are we gonna keep living this way, so working hard, making the money so we can pay for this house and do all these things, but on the back end, I'm struggling so bad I'm gonna end up in the hospital or worse. We're not even able to have a child because I'm so stressed out with all the things. And so we prayed about it. We had some tough conversations, lots of disagreements. We call them spiritual arguments. And we finally, after 9 months of just struggle, guys, big with a capital S, we said, you gotta quit. You gotta quit your job, because what good is it if you make all the money in the world if you're not even here to see it? And so we said, okay, God, we know you're calling us to quit and to leave. And we had to let go of 75% of our income overnight and walk away from the house that we just bought. We had to move into a 1-bedroom condo. And we had no assurance, you guys, that we were gonna have a baby or that I would get in remission. But we knew what we knew that we knew that we knew, and we had faith in the God who tells us that if you seek him first, all of these other things will be added. That we knew, and the reason we knew that is because I had done it before, you guys, when I was sick the first time. And faith is a muscle. It has to be exercised, and the cool thing about exercise is you get muscle memory. And so even if you don't know how, you don't know what, you don't know when, you know who he is, and you know what he says, and you know what he promises you, and that's enough for us. It didn't make sense on paper, okay? Oftentimes, you guys, it's not gonna make sense on paper when God asks you to do big things. If you wanna have big impact in the world and you're waiting for all your ducks to line up and for things to make sense, you're not gonna ever make impact. That is not faith. Faith means you don't have all the pieces together and you need to rely on him to make it happen. And so we did that, right? We sold the house, we did all the things, and sometimes, again, you need to take a step back in order to go forward. Some of you are just grinding, and you're lost and you're confused, and you're too afraid to take a step back. Be strong enough to take a step back, to get your head up, look at what's going on, and let God speak to your heart so that you can actually go forward. So we did that, and then 1 month later, what do you think happened? 1 month after we let it all go.
Money.
I got in remission, and I've been in remission ever since, and we got pregnant with our miracle baby. And you guys, there's so many stories like that in our life, so many things, you guys, the big and the small. And it just takes one step of faith, you guys, that you need to walk out on to let him show you what he's capable of, and then it's muscle memory.
Amen.
Doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It's not going to be our last step of faith. We're going to have a lot more, but we go into it now going, okay, God, like, this is kind of scary. This isn't maybe the most fun. This might be freaky, but it's also kind of exciting because I know what I know that I know, and you are going to do something above and beyond what I can hope or imagine. He does it every time.
Yeah.
Not just for me, not just for Phil, not just so we can have a nice car and a nice house and we had our babies, but so that we can get up here and share it with you guys.
Come
And
on.
tell you who's sitting in the audience who's like, well, how am I going to do it? And how I'm broken, I'm unhealthy, my marriage is crumbling, my this is that, my bankruptcy. We've been there, guys. We've done it. We're doing it. We're doing it with you day by day. So, I think my biggest piece of advice for everyone here is to just remember that he really is able to do above and beyond what you could hope or imagine.
Yeah.
And we cannot, I just posted this morning because I summed up all the thoughts of this weekend, and I said this, I said, I cannot pray bold prayers and then ignore the bold answers God gives me.
Amen.
So some of us have the answers already. Some of you know what God's telling you to do. You just flat out maybe don't want to do it. The answer's not in the way that you wanted, and it's not in the time frame that you wanted. It doesn't look like the person that you wanted. I didn't pray to sell shampoo on the internet, that's for sure. But it was an answer to the prayer that I did pray, which is, God, how can I impact women? And he said, get your phone out and go start selling shampoo. Didn't know how that made any sense. I don't even know any of that now. I don't even ask the whys anymore with God. I don't need to do that. I just have to be obedient, guys.
So good.
So, please be obedient to the small things, you guys, because they lead to the big and the big. And look around you. You're around a bunch of people who want to do that too. Link up with each other, you guys. That's how you grow your faith. It's much more fun to go to the gym with a workout buddy than by yourself. So work your spiritual life out with other buddies. And you got about, 1,000 of them right here with you, and I am one of them. I love you guys so much. Be blessed. Don't go home and not share something that you took from this. Like Stuart said, there's no point if we keep it in this room. Get on your stories, or maybe just talk to a neighbor, or talk to that mom who's hurting, that single mama in the car line at your kid's school, whatever it is. Look for the ways, you guys, to be your little lights out there, and just keep shining. Love you guys so much.